Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative Headline News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago, government moves to regularize Tobago race club land. The official said, "We are here to deliver justice to the people of Tobago." That's a statement from Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, Saddam Hussein, as he announced in the lower house on Friday that the government is seeking to legally regularize the Tobago Race Club Cove Estate into the state. That's really good news for the people of Tobago. Give credit when credit is due, and this is why I just hope that when other decisions and policies that have been made that are tarnishing the image of the UNC, that will be resolved, that will be rectified as soon as possible, so that we can have a very good chance of winning again in 2030. But at this point in time, as I said on my other channel, this type of good news, this type of policies that are taking place and the development of infrastructure and healthcare and whatsoever is being overshadowed by certain types of policies like the increasing of taxes and fees and fines and so forth. Changing up of significant policies that were made during the campaign trail. That is going to overshadow these types of positive news that are coming out from here in Trinidad and Tobago.
So, Mr. Speaker, what we have done as a government is on the 24th of October 2025, continue the acquisition process by publishing the Section 5.1 notice on the 24th of October 2025, after the last administration left this matter languishing. I, as Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, with the support of the Cabinet, was able to get this matter moving in a very expeditious and efficient manner, Mr. Speaker.
Minister Hussein also accused the former administration of relocating displaced Tobagonians on the land without the proper title, following the expansion of the A&R Robinson Airport.
These families were relocated in good faith and encouraged to establish permanent homes on the understanding that regularized tenure would follow. However, despite having occupied and developed these lands for several years, many residents remain without formal leases or registered titles due to the unresolved acquisition procedure. And that is why we are here today, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we can treat those persons with dignity and fulfill a promise that the state would have made to these citizens.
Prime Minister Kamala Persaud-Sessa says, while Trinidad and Tobago believes that CARICOM is in urgent need of transformation, and she's definitely correct about that, this country remains committed to Caribbean unity. The statement came on Friday afternoon as she officially welcomed the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and current chair of CARICOM, Dr. Terence Drew, to the Parliament. Once again, you see, as I keep telling people, yes, I'm criticizing the government a lot these days, but when they're making right decisions, I will support them as well. CARICOM is siding with Venezuela, which is a communist state at this point in time, while Trinidad and Tobago is aligning ourselves closer and closer to the United States of America, which is a defender of democracy. I fully stand with the Kamala Persaud administration when it pertains to these types of issues, people. But unlike my fellow UNC supporters, I am not just going to support for supporting's sake. Yellow is not the code for me, although I'm wearing a yellow jersey. I will commend the government when they're making right decisions, and I will also condemn when they're making wrong decisions. A former contractor with the Community-Based Environmental Protection and Enhancement Program, CPEP, who sued for over $4 million, was instead ordered to pay the company over $200,000 in legal fees. Samuel initially filed a claim on July 3rd, and a day later withdrew the claim, which sought $4,777,000 in compensation after the contract was terminated last year. Do you see how much money was being made I'm not just saying that just went to the contractors. That would have been, of course, to probably pay the workers and stuff like that as well. But still, that's a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. And we don't know exactly how much money out of that would have been for the contractor themselves. Samuel's claim was discontinued after it was learned that his company was removed from the company's registry by the company's registrar since February of 2025. So it had nothing to do with the UNC. It had nothing to do with them whatsoever. I hope, if it was that he was advised by the PNM to file this lawsuit, I hope they will provide him with the $200,000. Is how much money? Yes, $200,000. I hope they will provide him with the $200,000 to pay the legal fees. Students writing the SEA examinations will now benefit from an artificial intelligence platform which will assist them in mathematics. It was launched on Friday at the Education Ministry's head office in Port of Spain. According to Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath, the new SEA Math Past Paper Solutions platform is a digital platform designed to benefit all stakeholders within the education system. That's really good. The students themselves especially will be able to practice much more while they prepare for the SEA examination. And of course, probably they'll get explanations of why they got a certain question wrong. Hopefully, I don't know. And explanations on various topics, whether it's fractions and consumer arithmetic and so forth. Of course, that doesn't mean that there still isn't need for the teachers, the actual human teachers, to impart certain types of knowledge and explain certain things to the students.
Stakeholders in education can now access a new SEA Math Past Paper Solutions platform. It's a digital platform designed to benefit all stakeholders within the education system. That's according to Education Minister Dr. Michael Dowlath.
So I'm pleased to note that this platform uses digital tools and emerging AI-enabled approaches to support learning that is accessible, student-centered, and aligned with all our curriculum standards.
Dr. Dowlath says the software will allow parents to work in partnership with teachers and school administrators.
This software provides structured solutions, guided explanations, and in a little while you will see a video explaining how it actually works for our students, for our teachers, for our parents, and all those who would be interested in supporting our students. The software will give guided explanations, and it will also give opportunities for independent practice by our students. So what does it really do? It allows our students to learn at their own pace.
The Education Minister is encouraging students to take advantage of the platform.
Especially to our students, I want them to use this platform not just to prepare for an exam, for the SEA exam, but to strengthen their understanding and their confidence, especially in the area of mathematics.
Dr. Dowlath is, however, making it clear that the platform will not replace teachers in the classroom, but strengthen the teachers' work. Nicole Duki, TTT News.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines opposition leader Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has criticized the $1.8 billion 2026 budget estimates, saying they provide little clarity on how the budget will be financed and project minimal economic growth for the year. Well, maybe, just maybe, that's why they won the elections and not you. Because they probably promised the citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that they will invest more into the country. He noted that while some government programs have been continued, others have not, and he described much of the budget as containing more words than substance. Dr. Gonsalves also expressed concern over the budget deficit, which he described as a worrying trend for the current NDP government. Sometimes you need to invest in order to reap profits, people. It's even when you have a business, a small business or whatsoever, sometimes you have to borrow. And so you have to consider losses for a while in order to be able to expand the business to generate a larger profit. I've been saying that even here in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not about taxing the citizens. Don't tax the citizens. Borrow if you need to borrow to be able to revitalize, to be able to revive the economy And then when you start to make a profit, you wouldn't need to borrow that much again, especially when we reopen Petrotrim. Anyhow, he cautioned that without careful fiscal management, the deficit could place additional strain on public finances, limit development opportunities, and increase the burden on future taxpayers. He's correct to an extent to the people, but as I said before, sometimes you need to do a little borrowing in order to be able to expand your profit margin.
To be sure, we have had some worthy continuity. In some cases, there's retreat and stasis in others, and a number of little bits and pieces with doubtful funding. The estimates are unsuited to these perilous times, and little or no economic growth could be expected from these estimates. There are several things to address, those which were wrongly omitted and those which were erroneously put in. And we got a lot of words. We didn't get a lot of arithmetic. Arithmetic does not wait for applause. Arithmetic is relentless. Arithmetic is attached to you permanently like a devoted spouse. There is a budget deficit of $105.5 million. That's a headline number. What's the story for the last 4 budgets? In 2002, the deficit was $49.5 million. 2022, 23 is 10.3. 24, 24.6. In 2025, 5.5. These numbers cover periods of immense dislocation following COVID, volcanic eruptions, Hurricane Elsa, global turmoil, and beryl. But all those years together, the deficit on the current account doesn't amount to the deficit for the first NDP budget.
The president of the Guyana Oil and Gas Energy Chamber, Maniram Prasad, has welcomed the government's budget 2026, noting that it reinforces a clear national strategy to responsibly monetize petroleum resources, which has already become the backbone of Guyana's economy, while driving energy transformation, industrial expansion, and long-term competitiveness. Guyana is emerging as a far more attractive destination for energy investment than neighboring Venezuela, according to United States politician Marco Rubio, who highlighted investor concerns over legal security and contract enforcement in Caracas. Rubio noted that while Venezuela possesses vast oil reserves, international companies are increasingly inclined to channel capital into jurisdictions such as Guyana, where the business environment is viewed as more predictable. Exactly. This is what happens when you have a thriving democracy, which is, of course, I'm speaking about Guyana. Foreign Affairs Minister Senator Kamina Johnson says Jamaica's economic independence is dependent on its ability to balance competing global interests amid mounting geopolitical tensions. Johnson Smith was among a panel of foreign ministers discussing global fragmentation and whether Latin America and the Caribbean has a voice. They're correcting this concern. That is so true. As was recently promised by the Information Minister Dana Morris Dixon, the government has advertised for a chief executive officer for the new agency that is to lead Jamaica's reconstruction from Hurricane Melissa. The CEO, according to the recruitment notice, is expected to be a visionary leader who will spearhead one of the most consequential initiatives in Jamaica's history, which is true. We continue to pray for the people of Jamaica. And as I said yesterday, a lot of the times these international bodies are assisting, but they are lending money, whether it's Jamaica or other islands in the Caribbean that experienced natural disasters. And then, of course, the respective islands have to repay these debts. No, people. You spend billions of dollars in humanitarian aid for Gaza, but yet you are lending money to the people of the Caribbean. I don't think that's fair. Now for the interesting facts segment. During the 1700s, pineapples were so rare and difficult to transport that they were worth thousands of dollars in today's currency. And of course, not most likely, they will be talking about US dollars and not TT dollars. Because of the extreme cost, many people who owned or had access to them chose not to eat the fruit at all. Instead, it became a common practice to rent pineapples for parties so guests could carry them around as a way to look wealthy. Actually, eating the pineapple was seen as literally burning money because of how much value the fruit held as a social accessory. Yeah, but how long the pineapple will last? You have to eat it at some point in time. I don't know. Closing off now with a travel segment. In Rwanda's Akagera National Park, wilderness enthusiasts can enjoy a quieter safari while still seeing the big five and more than 500 bird species. While the country's largest national park looked radically different 30 years ago, a decade and a half of work rehabilitating the park has allowed wildlife to flourish and more hospitality options to arise, including intimate tented suites at Wilderness Magashi Peninsula. I love these types of adventures, so definitely would be on my wish list of places to visit. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news headlines. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.